Joining me now to discuss is our political panel, News Nation political contributor Kurt Bardella and political strategist Rina Shah. Kurt and Rina, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it. And, you know, I just said it was breathtaking. I mean, every time I see that video and I see the swath of land that's been just decimated, it really does take your breath away. So, Rina, I'll start with you. With Trump's federal cuts and suggesting that FEMA needs to be overhauled, how do you think this will move? It will help disaster aid and relief as North Carolina recovers from Hurricane Helene. Will that move help in any way, or what do you think?
I actually believe that this move is not going to affect that disaster relief that much. Let's not forget that these monies are allocated by Congress. And frankly, whatever Trump is proposing right this moment isn't going to set into motion for some time, whether those are staff changes or essentially process related at the agency. What we know, though, is that there is discretionary funding already set to help North Carolina, to even help out people in California with the money there that Governor Gavin Newsom has requested to help the victims of the wildfires there in Southern California. These monies do get allocated properly and well ahead of time so that even when any new administration comes in, they cannot touch quite quickly what would already be monies allocated for certain things.
Hey, Kurt, I wanted to ask you what you make about Kristi Noem's trip today.
It gets a lot of publicity. I think it's a PR stunt because really her presence there is not going to have any effect on what's going to be allocated, when it's going to be allocated. I think it's someone just trying to show like, hey, we're doing this, that we're doing the emotional, we hear you, we feel you, we're with you, and checking those boxes, which isn't, by the way, uncommon. If this were the Biden administration, I would expect the same thing from his Secretary of Homeland Security or from his FEMA administrator. So I think that's pretty normal par for the course, especially like I said, when you see the breathtaking nature, the size and scope of the destruction that was left in the wake of all of this. It warrants having that spotlight on. And I think the important thing is, if I'm the administration, let's keep the focus where it should be. It should be on supporting the families and the victims of this. It shouldn't be about the political personalities involved.
Well, I know a lot of people in that state are hoping that she will go back with a report of some kind saying, look, these are the things that are needed right away. So a lot of people have a focus on that visit today. We also want to move on to this because a federal judge has blocked Elon Musk from accessing Treasury records. Another big story we're watching. Let's take a listen to House Democrats' message to him, and we'll get your take on the other side.
We're here to say with one voice, fire Elon Musk. An unelected, unaccountable billionaire now has seemingly unlimited powers over Americans' private data and over Americans' taxpayer dollars.
Elon Musk is anti-worker and anti-labor. Elon Musk, we've got a message for you. You will be fired.
Nobody elected Elon Musk to be president, but he has his grimy hands all over our administration.
All right, Kurt. So what are the consequences of Musk's access to millions of Americans' sensitive data? That is a question so many people have. What exactly does he have right now, and how much of it can he see?
Yeah, I think it's very concerning when you have an outside, unelected person having this much access to private, sensitive information within the federal government. It's kind of an unprecedented situation, frankly. And I can tell you that as a former Republican, as a former Republican advisor who worked at the House Oversight Committee during the Obama years, if Barack Obama had given an outside person, a billionaire who has business interests in other countries like China, this type of unfettered access to the federal government, we would have lost our minds. There would be hearings, there'd be subpoenas. I mean, Elon Musk would be sitting in front of Congress answering questions every single day. This should be very disturbing because this is someone who can't be held accountable. He's not in the federal government officially. He doesn't have a .gov email address, if you will. He's not subject to the disclosure and transparency and accountability requirements that federal government workers are. He is completely outside the system, yet he's been given the keys to the entire system at the same time.
Rina, what do you think? Is he allowed to do this? Should he be allowed to do this?
I have a bit of a different take because somebody cares a lot about oversight and accountability, particularly from our federal government. It's so important. But in general, I don't really see that much different here. As somebody who's worked in the halls of Congress as well, I can tell you I have watched people with a lot of money have unfettered access to a lot of what's going on in Washington. up in arms right now because there's finally a face on what's happening. The key point there that my friend Kurt made was Elon Musk is not subject to the same sort of financial responsibilities and some of the same laws and regulations that apply to people that go into federal government service. So this is the first time we're seeing it so visible, so superficial, and frankly seeing all this. It is very, very jarring to see, again, how much Elon Musk has been able to do within a matter of weeks. He has been given the key by President Trump. But sitting here in Washington, I can tell you, I've watched how this town has functioned and has not functioned for well over a decade and a half. And I am glad to see things shake. Do I want to see Musk go on and continue to humble the federal government? Probably not. But it is one of as it's happening, we can't be outraged about it all, because then if we're outraged about every single act, ones that matter get glossed over.
All right. Well, a lot of people have many questions about this. We'll continue to watch it. News Nation political contributor Kurt Bardella and political strategist Rina Shah. Thank you very much for joining us on these topics.
Have a good Saturday.
All right. You too.